So tell me what makes for a really great practice incentive or challenge.
I think it needs to be something that the students are really excited by, but also that the teacher needs to feel motivated to do as well. Like I've found for me, I can't have one that lasts for too long because interest fades for the students, but also for me, and you have to keep driving it. So it's quite good to have something that is a really set time frame that suits how you operate.
Hey there, I'm Rachel Ehring, and you're listening to the Top Music Piano Podcast. Get inspired as we discuss creative resources, trends in piano pedagogy, ways to grow your income and streamline your studio, and new ways to engage your students each week. If you are a teacher who wants to go beyond the method books to create an innovative studio that fosters lifelong music makers, you've come to the right place. Hi there, piano teachers. Welcome to the Top Music Piano Podcast. Whether you are a new listener or you've been around for a while, I am so glad that you chose to be here today. Have you ever wanted to pull your hair out because you're working so hard preparing great lessons for your students, and then it feels like they go home and forget everything they learned and you have to start all over again the next week? I think all of us have had that experience. Today, my guest is going to share some great ways to encourage students to practice at home and give them the tools that they need to actually do it effectively. Here's a little bit about my guest. Bridey Gibson from Pianosaurus Rex is on a mission to make music lessons even more fun through innovative teaching ideas, play-based learning, creative expression, and engaging resources. What began in 2010 as a side hustle teaching piano to a handful of students has grown into a music studio with over 50 students located by the beach in Christchurch, New Zealand. In addition to teaching, Bridey loves creating resources that make music lessons and practice more playful and organized. Outside of the music studio, you can find Bridey road tripping with her family, reading science, fiction, and fantasy, slowly working on creative projects, and learning to surf. Here's my interview with Bridey. Hi, Bridey. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to get to know you a little bit today. To start, could you introduce yourself and just tell listeners a little about you?
Thanks for having me, Rachel. I'm really excited to be here. I'm Bridey from Pianosaurus Rex in New Zealand, which you might have been able to pick from my accent. I've been teaching piano for about 15 years or so and live by the beach in Christchurch, New Zealand.
So, Bridey, I would love to hear, what did your early piano lessons look like? And then how did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, so when I started, I was living in a little house we called the Gingerbread House, and it was really cute. And it had a piano in the spare bedroom. And so I just did that standard 30 minutes. Students would come and we'd focus on learning specific pieces. But I really quickly got inspired by seeing what a lot of people were doing online. And over the years, I have tried a lot of different lesson formats. I actually made a list. Did you want me to read it? I had to write it all down so I didn't forget anything.
Oh, sure. I'd love to hear it.
So I've done preschool groups, preschool piano, school music classes, ukulele groups, beginner piano groups, a music sampler trying like 3 different instruments, partner or buddy lessons, rotating lessons. I've done on-demand lessons for adults, a composing club, theory club, and group workshops.
Wow. You're like me. You keep getting ideas and think this is going to be the thing that's going to solve all my problems. Is that sound about right?
Yeah. And I just really love experimenting as well. And yeah, I hear a new idea. I'm like, I'm going to try that. That sounds fun.
Yeah. So where have you landed today? What are you doing?
So my favorite out of all of those has been rotating lessons, which I first heard about from Jennifer Fox from Music Educator Resources.
Sure.
Yeah. And I also do a few individual lessons still. And as part of the rotating ones, we do group workshops for 1 week every term as well.
So we're going to talk about rotating lessons, but I want to talk about a couple other things first. First of all, where did the name Pianosaurus Rex come from? It's so creative.
I really love brainstorming and naming things. And I can't remember, it was just sort of a flash of inspiration, I think. And when I had it, I was like, yep, that's the one. It captured sort of the playful
It's very
and
memorable.
fun. Yeah. Get a lot of comments on it.
I like it. So we're going to talk a little today about practice incentives. Oh, practicing. It's a challenge for these kids. So tell me a little bit about practice incentives and what they are, what they should include, and why you like them, I guess.
Yeah. So I like to have something that motivates my students to practice at home because, everyone's so busy, it's hard to fit things in. And just having an incentive gives that little boost for kids to want to keep practicing. So usually there's sort of three parts to it. And the first one is deciding on a goal. So it could be practicing more frequently, it could be practicing for longer periods, or it could be practicing and looking at a specific goal as well, which can be a bit more productive than just, in front of the piano. Also need a way that you can track progress, which can be really simple, or it can get a bit more complicated if you want it to. And then it's quite good to have some sort of reward, whether that is, an actual physical treat, or I've seen other teachers who will have a special piece that students can learn. So it can be like a music-based reward as well, which can be a little bit of an easier sell to parents, possibly because they need to, it's not just bribing children to keep practicing. It's about more of the motivation.
I just want to make sure I got it. So, three parts: you decide on a goal with your student, a way to track their progress, and then some kind of incentive or reward. Is that right? Did I get it?
Yes, yeah. I think those are the three main parts. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me what makes for a really great practice incentive or challenge.
I think it needs to be something that the students are really excited by, but also that the teacher needs to feel motivated to do as well. Like I've found for me, I can't have one that lasts for too long because interest fades for the students, but also for me, and you have to keep driving it. So it's quite good to have something that is a really set time frame that suits how you operate. And yeah, having a theme can be a really good idea, especially if it's tied into whatever reward students have decided on. And I quite like to have something a little bit extra, like a multimedia or something like that. So there's a couple of incentives that I've done where there's like recordings, one's an adventure story. So every time the students get to the next level, they hear the next part of the story.
Oh, that's creative. I like that idea. Okay, so can you tell me about one that you've done in your studio and maybe tell me the different parts, like if there was a theme and how long it lasts, and just give me some of the details to give me a better picture of it?
Yeah, so the most intricate one that I've done was the musical Monster Mania, and that was more of a longer term one. Last time I did it for 2 terms, I think, which are 10-week terms here. And it focused on a lot of different elements. It was sort of like an all-encompassing incentive. And so we were tracking when students would master a piece, they would earn points. If they finished a scale, they'd get more points. However much practice they did each week was more points. And so every week we totaled up how many points they got, and they were earning stickers, which were it was based on a story. So they're going around the world and encountering different monsters. And so they'd get certain points and they'd be able to capture a monster, and then they'd get a story as part of it as well. So it was a lot going on, but it was really fun and the students got super into it.
Yeah, that sounds really fun for them. Okay, Bridey, I have to tell you as a teacher, practice incentives feel overwhelming to me because I feel like it's going to be a lot of work on me. And even just remembering to like track it every week feels like a lot. So can you help me out and give me some advice?
Yeah, so there are definitely a lot of simple ways that you can do it. It doesn't need to be something that involves a lot of different elements unless you want it to.
No, give me the simple version.
So for me, I think keeping it really short as well can be quite good. So instead of thinking like, oh no, I'm going to do this big incentive that's going to last months, you can think, right, there's going to be 4 weeks and we're going to focus on one particular aspect, which might be how many days you can practice within the 4 weeks, and have something that's really easy to track. So often I'll have with my students like a practice chart, and they can just tick off or colour in a square for every time that they practice. And if they forget to fill it in, then or forget to bring it to lessons, then I just can't record the updates. And surprisingly, they always remember to bring it in.
That's great. So they bring in their practice chart and then you just record it. Is that right?
So I just keep track of how much practice they've done. And at the end of the time period, then they'd have some sort of reward that they could choose. Usually I like to give students a choice of something, just something small, something that they personally are interested in, because, you know, there can be a lot of variation in ages and interests. So I like to keep options open.
Can you tell us some rewards that have been big hits in your studio that kids have really responded to?
Yeah. I mean, any sort of food treats are usually quite
Yeah.
exciting for them. I've seen other teachers have like a little prize jar so students can pick something from,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Little treats and things like that. And I mean, that keeps things really easy.
Yeah, because then they feel like they have a choice and they can get what they want.
Yes.
So I'm curious, with your students, do they see what everyone else is doing? Is this like a studio-wide challenge, or is it more just individual incentives?
Yeah. I like to do a studio-wide challenge just because it keeps people excited, and because the students, there's 3 per lesson, they can all see what each other is doing, and it can be so motivating for them to see how much other students are practicing as well. I've found it really interesting having conversations about practice with groups of students, and some of them are shocked how much others do. And the ones who do a lot are like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're not practicing every day? So it's quite good for students to sort of open their eyes and see, oh, actually, practice is so important, and some of my friends are practicing so much, and maybe I can practice more.
Yeah, so that's the perfect segue to talking about these rotating lessons. Tell me about rotating lessons and how they work.
Okay, so I have 3 students attend the lessons, and each one is 60 minutes in total. And within the 60 minutes, there are 3 different stations that students rotate through, which is hence the name. And one student will spend 20 minutes with me, then they will spend 20 minutes at a practice lab on the digital piano with headphones, and then they will rotate around to a theory lab where they're either working on projects or theory worksheets, watching theory videos, that sort of thing. And so every 20 minutes, everybody stops around.
Okay, got it. Did parents buy into this idea right away, or did you have to kind of sell it to them? Because I can imagine they would say, well, they're getting less one-on-one time with you. Is that true?
Yes, I haven't had any negative feedback from parents at all. Usually they're quite excited. For their schedules, it's a lot easier to drop children for a 60-minute lesson and a 30-minute lesson. They've actually got time that they can go and do things. And the kids are so excited to come to lessons, to see their friends, to try different things. And I haven't had any problem with parents at all, though I still do have the individual lesson option, mainly for more advanced students.
So are most of your students in the rotating lessons then, and it's just a few advanced ones?
Yeah, the majority are doing rotating lessons. Yeah.
Could a teacher potentially implement the rotating lessons even if they don't have a lot of space? Like, what's kind of the minimum amount of space you would need for this?
If you were doing it with 3 students, it does pay to have a bit of extra space, because you need 2 instruments and another area to work on for theory, with a bit of space as well. You don't want to all be on top of each other. But if you have got a smaller space, then there's definitely some creative ways you can do it. And one of the options that I was thinking about in a smaller space is you could have either a practice lab or a theory lab as opposed to all 3. So having maybe 2 students rotating instead of all 3. But you could also incorporate it if you're doing online lessons.
Oh, how would that work?
Yeah. I was thinking that you could either have everybody doing the different things in the 1 hour, I haven't tried this though. I'd be really interested if somebody does to see how it works, because there's that accountability of the practice. Because the students are rotating lessons, I know they're doing at least 20 minutes of practice every week, even if they don't get a chance at home. And so having that, accountability makes a big difference. And another idea I was thinking about was having sort of an office hours practice, which you could do a virtual practice session. So you're going to log on at this time. All of your students who are interested can log on at the same time. They can ask you questions if they have them. Everyone's on mute unless they've got questions, but everyone's practicing at the same time, and you could see each other and know that you're not alone. It makes it a bit more social, which is one of the things I really love about rotating lessons.
Yeah, I like that idea. And I've heard of piano teachers doing like a power hour where they're practicing. So why not do it for online students? I think that's a really great idea. So you mentioned the community aspect of the rotating lessons. What else do you love about it? What do you think are some of the benefits?
Yeah, I love the variety myself. It's just really nice energy to have everyone working on different things. It's, just quite energetic and fun and lively. And one thing that I really like is, like I was saying before, that chance to practice. And it's such productive practice because it's something that they've just worked on. They go away and do it straight away and really reinforces what they've been learning. And they can ask me questions if there's something that's not clear immediately. So I love that aspect of having the practice lab. And for the theory lab, we often work on projects. So some of the projects that my students are working on at the moment, sometimes we're working through like a theory booklet. We've also got research projects, so researching composers, musicians. It's a lot of Taylor Swift. I've learned a lot about Taylor Swift. And then one of my favourite projects is making a music video of a piece that they've learned. So they'll script it all out, we'll do some videos, put it all together.
Oh, that's cool. And that's part of the theory part?
Yeah. So it just gives us a chance to cover so many things that we otherwise wouldn't get to. They have a chance to compose their own pieces as well. That's another project. And if they're not working on projects, then I really like to have like theory videos available for them to watch. So seeing how some other teachers are explaining concepts, I just find so useful, because sometimes you just need it explained a certain way for it to click. And so having, so many options on YouTube.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Now, do you ever find that students aren't able to work independently as well as you would like? Because you would be busy with the one-on-one lesson during the whole hour, right? So how do those theory students work? Do they ever struggle with independence?
I do have students asking me questions, which I encourage as well. So I'm definitely focused on the one-on-one student, but I'm also aware of what the other students are doing, and they're all very polite, and they'll quietly say, "Can you help me with something?" And it's not very disruptive, but for a lot of the students, this is how their music lessons have always worked, and this is just the way that it is. And being just one-on-one with a teacher can feel a little bit overwhelming because you've got all this attention and there's nothing else going on. So, I think that it's important as well to make sure that it suits the personalities of the students and the ages of the students. I find that students need to be able to read confidently so that they can read the instructions that I've given them for the different stations, and they need to be able to focus for about 20 minutes without getting too distracted, though I do have a lot of fun games and things for their practice. So we keep the variety going. In the past, I have had younger students, and I hired one of my teenage piano students to sit with them during the practice and just to give that encouragement.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I was going to ask you what age you think most of them start doing this.
It's usually from 7. I have had students younger, but it is a lot harder for them to keep their focus.
Gotcha. Okay. So bringing this back to practice, obviously this is going to help them practice at home because they're learning how to practice in your presence, right? Do you have any other favorite resources or tools to help students with their practicing?
Yeah, so I have quite a lot of different activities that are specifically for practice, including some games, some board games that I've made, because there's so many music theory board games and students have so much fun. And I was thinking, well, why can't I make practice into an actual game? So I've got a couple of board games where as students move around the board, they'll flip up cards and it will say a really specific practice task about a piece that they're working on, like play line 1 as softly as you can 3 times. And so it's just getting that repetition going, but in different ways. And yeah, it really helps to keep them motivated and focused.
I love that idea. So do you do that during the rotating lessons or do they do that at home or both?
Both, yeah. I've got large copies of the games in my studio for the students to use, and I've made some smaller copies to have as a lending library so students can take them home to use as well.
That's a really good idea. Tell me about any unique gadgets that you have in your studio to make learning fun, or something that you use in your teaching that other teachers maybe could steal from you.
Yeah. I use the puzzle erasers quite a lot. You're probably familiar with them. They're the little rubbery ones. They come apart and they are the size of a piano key. I get one from Kmart. There's a lot available.
Oh, we don't have Kmart anymore.
Oh, okay. You could definitely get them on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you search, if you just search for a puzzle eraser, and I find them really good, especially for beginners and recognizing the keys. I've got little cats, dogs, and elephants, which are pretty perfect.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So the CDE.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, the dog and the dog house of the 2 keys. I think that's quite a common way that teachers describe it. And so this little dog eraser fits right in between the 2 keys. So it's a really easy visual cue for students to make the connection with the D.
Oh, that's a great one. I'll have to look that up and see if I can find a link.
Yeah, so that's definitely popular, especially with beginner students. And the other resource I use a lot is washi tape.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes it's just to decorate things. So when the students are making like their posters about Taylor Swift, they'll have some washi tape to decorate it. But I also like to use it in music. So like recognizing the different sections which are repeating. So you could have one section and you'd put tape across it so that you can see, oh, here it goes again. That makes it so much easier for students to tackle playing a piece when they're like, oh, this is the bit I've already know, and there's this really visual reminder. Or sometimes I'll use it for dynamics. So I'm not sure if this is a universal thing, but to me, the piano is like the cold colors. It's like blues and greens, and forte is like oranges and reds and yellows. So it's, yeah. It seems to make sense to most people, but that's often what we do. And we'd use, like an orange tape for the forte section just to make it really, really clear.
That's great. I love it. So, okay, we're kind of getting close to wrapping up here. I would love for you to tell me your favorite practice incentive of all time.
I've got one which I really enjoy, and it's also really simple, and it is the music superhero one. And it's also super sneaky because the rewards are just more music activities. So every time students reach the next level, they get to pick a card, and on the card there'll be a challenge, like a sight reading challenge. And so once you complete that, then you've earned your sight reading superpower. And then once they've completed everything, they'll get a wee extra reward as well. But students learn so much and they don't even realize.
Do they respond well to that? Like the rewards being more music challenges?
Yes. Yep. They love it.
Okay. That's good. Now, is that one that you created, or is
Yes,
that one that...
it is.
Okay. So tell us about some of the ones that you've created, because I know you have some of these available for other teachers, right?
I do. So I mentioned the musical superhero one, and the other one is the superhero one. I've also got a few different practice resources that I've just been developing, and they're mainly aimed at parents because that's such an important part of the practice puzzle is parents. And so many haven't had lessons before. There's no way that they know what practice is supposed to look like, how to schedule it, how important it really is. So I have a collection called the Practice Power Up, which has got some little mini guides about, how to schedule practice, different ways to focus on repeating, lots of different activities to try and keep practice engaging and fun, and that are really easy for parents to just have a wee look. Here's a list of fun activities that you could do this week, and they can pick one thing, and then they know, yes, this is something that's going to be really helpful for practice. It was really easy and it's done. And there's also a couple of games and a few practice tracking sheets as well, so students can see how long it takes them to do 50 practice sessions or how many they can do in a week over a 6-week period, that type of.
Great. So tell listeners where they can find those, where they could learn more about you, reach out to you if they have any questions. Tell us all the places.
Yeah, so the main place is my website, which is pianosaurusrex.nz for New Zealand.
Gotcha. NZ, as we say.
Yeah. And I've also got a page for top music listeners as well, which is linking some of the things that we've talked about and a couple of articles about like rotating lessons and the different practice incentives and activities.
Oh, perfect. So we'll put that in the show notes so that listeners can check that out. That's awesome. Thank you for doing that. Well, thank you so much, Bridey, for being here. This was helpful for me. I am feeling more empowered to do some practice incentives with my students, and I really appreciate you sharing your wisdom and creativity with us.
Thanks so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
I hope that you enjoyed my chat with Bridey today. Be sure to download your free copy of the Top Music magazine. This month's magazine is all about practicing. I haven't seen it yet when I'm recording this because it hasn't come out yet, but I know it's going to have so much valuable information in it. And I've been told that Bridey wrote an article for the August issue. So you can find that at topmusic.co/magazine. And then also check out the links in the show notes for the resources that Bridey mentioned that she put together specifically for top music listeners. That's the end of the show for this week. Next week on the podcast, I'm going to attempt to do something that I've never done before. We're going to find out together if I can pull it off. So check back here next Friday to see what my crazy brain came up with this time and if I was actually able to execute it. I'm Rachel Ehring, and you've been listening to the Top Music Piano Podcast. I'll see you here next Friday.
How do you keep up to date with all the latest trends and research into music education? How do you connect with other teachers around the world and make sure your teaching stays fresh and relevant for students of all ages and stages both now and into the future? I created our Top Music Pro membership to be the one-stop shop for music teaching resources, training, support and community, and I'd love for you to come and join us inside. With over 40 comprehensive training courses, hundreds of teaching demonstrations and lesson plans, free monthly sheet music, discounts, and all the business and pedagogy support you could ever need, Top Music Pro is the community you've been looking for. If you're ready to level up your learning from the podcast and join thousands of other teachers in our global network, head over to topmusicpro.com today.